Hey, what's going on, roleplayers? It's the Bard here, and welcome back to the corner. So guys, I've been wanting to put this up for ages, but I've just had so much stuff to do. 14th of April was Salute 2018. We travelled all the way to London for pretty much anything geeky. If you like role-playing games, if you like tabletop war games, if you're a collectible card enthusiast, or even if you just love some literature, there was literally something for everyone at this place. There was so much amazing stuff. There was a real working tank there was games being played, there was all sorts of models and stuff being sold. It was just phenomenal. For those of you guys who are over here in the UK, it's really worth going to at least once. If you've got 300 quid to spare, and maybe a little bit more, then don't expect to come home with much change, because you will find so much great stuff up there. Leisure Games was selling all the kinds of role-playing games that you could ever want, and if you're an enthusiast when it comes to tabletop, you've got all the classics there, like GW, but you've got some really good independent games as well. Even some of my friends were there selling some stuff that they'd created. However, we weren't there just to have a look around and buy some stuff. No, we were actually there as creators ourselves. Myself and a few friends have come up with this new thing for you role players. Basically what it does is it generates adventures for you. It's the GM's Tarot, and it's something that I want to showcase to you guys today. So we took it up to Salute just to show it off, just to get some support and a bit of interest in preparation for our Kickstarter. But most importantly, I really want to share this with you guys who've been so loyal and who've been really great at supporting the channel, and it's something that I wanted to show you personally. Whilst there are similar ideas out there that generate ideas, most of them are just a single deck. You shuffle them up and you just draw one off the top, and that's your idea. That's your game for the night. However, you only get say 50 or so uses out of it, and then you've gone through all the adventures that are available. What ours does, it gives you a variety of locations, a variety of encounters, and a variety of different hooks that you can add intrigue to the game with. The deck is there to get your ideas flowing. There's a selection of flavor text on all the cards, and it's there to give you the concept of what you might do in an emergency. So if you haven't got a game for the night, or someone's had to pull out, Vicky has said, no, I can't do it because I'm sick, or Tiffany's turned up and said, sorry guys, Gotham needs me. Well, it doesn't matter because someone else can pull a game right out of the hat. We're currently on our prototype stage at the moment, but most of our work is done. So we've got our alpha edition already up and running, as you can see in front of you. Essentially separate the cards into the 3 piles, one for the locations, one for the encounters, one for the hooks, shuffle them up, and then just randomly draw. Just in case everyone's not 100% certain, check it out. There's my channel name right there on the main card. So now we've got that out of the way, let's see these things in action. So after separating the cards out and giving it a good shuffle, you're going to get all your locations, all of your encounters, all of your hooks, and you're going to generate your own ideas. Just draw one off the top of each. And if you don't like any of the combinations you get, just put it to one side and draw again. It's not an issue. You can use these things any way that you want. They've been designed in such a way that you can do as much or as little with them as you like. So our first draw was the Mausoleum, the Nightmare Horde, and the Stash of Stolen Goods. There must be 100 ideas that you can come up with right off the top of your head just from having these few little prompts. If that's not enough for you, then why not use some of the flavor text that we've provided below. Next up was the Family Tomb, the Plague-Ridden Peasants, and Cursed. What's cursed? Is it the peasants themselves? Is the tomb cursed? Is something else cursed? Where is the plague coming from? Are they derived from each other? What kind of ideas can you come up with for this scenario? Guys, can you think of anything that you could do with a pyramid, some speeding wagons, and a third party complicating matters? There must be an idea floating around in your head for that scenario too. It's not just the titles on the top of the cards, and it's not just the flavor text as well. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed the symbols in the corner of each card. The symbols are there to add even more theme to your quest, your adventure, or even your entire campaign. Our website is going to have a list of these things that tell you what the overarching theme of the idea is. So if you have multiple coin cards or multiple sword cards, perhaps you've got a real wealth or social based interaction going. If you've got lots of swords, perhaps it's going to be war and battle. So there's going to be a big theme running throughout your entire adventure. So whatever it is, you can infer that from the symbols too. We've wanted to give you guys as many options as we can within a single deck of cards. So many times we've seen so many similar things that give you an adventure that you can play, or maybe a set of adventures you can play, but once they're done with, once you've used all of them, you can't go back to them. With our idea, you can have hundreds if not thousands of different ideas. We ran the numbers, and just this single 52 card deck alone has got at least 4,000, close to 5,000 different scenarios that you can generate just from the titles alone. If you had, say, 52 of each card, which is something we would like to do, say have 52 locations, 52 encounters, 52 hooks, you could have easily well over 140,000 different combinations. And that's not including the differences between the suits or the flavor text that's been added on as well. Start adding those into the mix and you're getting in the millions of ideas, and there is no way that anyone is going to be able to use that within a lifetime. We're hoping that this is going to be something that people can use again and again and again, not just have a single idea and then have to throw it away, but something you can use over and over, whether it be for an emergency, whether it be for pre-planned games, or even if you just want to use the entire thing to come up with every single plot point in your entire game. Our idea was to come up with something that you could use as little or as often as you wanted to. You don't even have to use them for adventures, you can use them for other things too. If you have a character who relies heavily on magic, or soothsaying, or looking into the future, or divination, then perhaps you can use these cards for that too. Perhaps they can draw from the piles, give them to the GM without looking, and the GM can then generate the future that's going to happen to those players. This has been a really exciting few months for us, working on these cards, getting the prototypes up and running, getting our alpha edition sent to us, and being able to take it up to Salute and showcase it up there in front of all those people. So it's been really exciting. However, we're going to go for Kickstarter now. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to happen, but it seems my guys want to get on as quickly as they can. Since I'm the one that kind of come up with the idea, the other guys are running the Kickstarter and working on that. So when I know more, I'll do a follow-up video with all the information and the links to it. So for anyone who's interested, who'd like to back it as a project, I will have all the info for you, and it will all be in the description below when I put up the next video when it comes to the GM's Tarot. This is just the first of many, however. This is only our fantasy edition. We want to do others as well. We'd like to do urban horror, we'd like to do modern day, we'd like to do sci-fi, we'd like to do post-apocalyptic. We're well aware that D&D is one of, if not the most popular role-playing game out there, so we started off with our fantasy edition, but there are other great games out there that I know people are playing. So if you're playing games like Call of Cthulhu, then you're going to want a horror scenario deck that you can generate from. You're going to want to have a modern day deck if you're generating something from, say, Dresden Files. You could even do a little bit of mixing and matching. You could use both the fantasy deck and the modern day deck for something like Dresden Files, where you've got a little bit of both. Or perhaps if you're playing the Laundry, you could have the modern day deck and the horror deck combined, and you can actually generate ideas from that too. So whatever the thing is, we want to have as many different options available, because people love options. People love having variety, and variety is, after all, the spice of life. Because we don't just want to do cards, we want to do role-playing games as well. Back in 2016, I posed the question to my group, can we as a group make our own game? Everyone was kind of up for the idea, but as with so many other things, nothing ever comes to fruition. But I said no, enough of this. Anyone who wants to be in the project, sign up now. And we wanted to do our own games because we came to the realization that no one's making the kind of games that we want to play. The obvious solution to that was to make our own game, and that's what we started doing. However, when it came to the point where we had to decide, do we want it to be dice-based, or do we want it to be free-flow, do we want it to be no dice, do we want it to be card-based, I turned around and said, look guys, I don't want card-based games because, cards, if they're used over and over and over again for constant things like battles or, character creation and stuff, or whatever it is the game mechanic is, they can get torn, they can get damaged, if they're being constantly used by, half a dozen different hands at the same time. But just off the cuff, I said I don't mind using them for things like generating ideas, at which point everyone around the table had a big collective brainwave and thought, oh my god, we'll use cards for generating ideas. And this is what came of it. So we want to have the cards, we want to put them out there, we want to generate some cash, and then we want to go out and make our own role-playing games as well as having all these toolkits that you can use for making your games the absolute best that they can be. The idea is also it's made by role players, people who've done it for well over 100 years of combined experience between us. So we're really hoping that it's going to have absolutely something for everybody. Guys, thanks for watching my video on the GM's Tower. We cannot wait to get this thing to Kickstarter, and as soon as I have the information about when it starts, I will do a follow-up video and let everyone know when the project is about to go live and when you can start putting in your pledges if it's something that interests you. Once we get a few decks, maybe I'll even run a competition for someone to win one. I don't know, I haven't thought that far ahead. I'm just so excited about how the project's developing at the moment. Guys, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and give me some of your ideas. Of the draws that you've just seen me doing in the video, I would love to hear some of the ideas for quests or adventures or even whole campaigns based upon what you've just seen. So be sure to get those ideas down, and I will see you guys next time at the gaming table.
Blah, blah, blah.